Good morning, Matt.
Oh, good morning, Will.
Good morning to all of you.
Welcome to Games for Breakfast, the only internet talk show we talk about this week's gaming and tech news, but that also we seem to have a obsession this morning with lasers.
That's right.
I don't know why lasers have become such a fascination with our Brad this morning.
Why do you think that we need a reason?
You know what?
For lasers.
You know what? You're correct. And
knowing is half the battle. The other half is laser-based violence.
25% red lasers, 25% blue lasers. Right, Will, your thought process is flawless. I yield my time.
Well, I don't know what to do with your time.
It's just an hour and a half. Easy breezy. You got to fill it.
Good luck.
To you.
Right. Okay, great. Now Matt's just going to leave to go play with lasers. Don't play with them near a camera or your eye.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thank you. Or, good morning for now where we are, but also good afternoon, good evening, or good night, depending on where you are elsewhere, and how many times you've watched The Truman Show.
Oh, God. If you haven't, okay, wait, hold on a sec. There are definitely people young enough who watch this show that they don't know. Sometime, get a blanket and some hot cocoa, and if you have a cuddly pet, maybe a cuddly pet, and watch The Truman Show, which is either one of the saddest funny movies or the funniest sad movies ever.
I would be really curious for a late millennial or early gen alpha. No, that's too late. They're too young.
There's like millennials and I guess technically millennials are Gen Z. And there's Gen Alpha after us.
I want someone who has never not grown up with YouTube.
Yeah.
Who is also like an adult to watch The Truman Show. Because I feel like a lot of the vernacular, because it's based around, honestly, network television. Yeah. Which is still around, but also, depending on where you grow up, a bit of a dying medium. Yeah. So I'd be curious how effective The Truman Show is for young people at this point. For like people in their like early 20s.
That's right. Millennials are Gen Y. That's right. I don't know my alphabet. Thank you, chat, for correcting me. Yes, I'm wrong.
Also, a real quick reminder that the actual generational terminology we use is all made up.
All of it's fake.
It is literally not. It's to make us easier to be angry at people that are older and younger than us. And it's dumb, but we still use it because it's so clean and vernacular focused. Just a quick heads up there.
Yeah. Yeah, that is correct. Daft, you are 100% correct. The Truman Show, in this case, would merely be a Twitch stream. It's literally just a Twitch stream. That's correct.
Yeah. And people have kind of done it. Like,
people volunteer for it. It's called Big Brother.
Yeah, but that's edited. Like the idea, I don't know. Again, we don't have to go too far into The Truman Show. This episode's not about The Truman Show.
Isn't every episode at least a little bit about The Truman Show?
Yeah, but I think we're getting to the end of how much this episode can be about The Truman Show.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah. Anyway, my brain is now stuck on The Truman Show. So, shall we get into our proper news stories?
Yeah, I'm going to make some coffee. We got some stuff. I'm going to push this button down. It's the magic coffee button.
It's a good magic coffee button.
Reminders.
Yeah, first thing first. A couple reminders. Number one, Friday is your last day to get in on the calendar Kickstarter.
We will be doing a final push stream, probably 2 hours prior, maybe, or 1.5 hours, something like that.
Yeah, but it'll be me and Matt because everyone else is asleep. This is the price we pay. This is the price we pay for being East Coast. Yeah. So please join us for that on Friday, and you can ! Kickstarter in Twitch chat, or I'm sure the mods have the link over in YouTube.
Indeed, yes. Please go check that out. If we get to, I forget what it is, if it's 65 or 70. We'll have unlocked the ability for everyone to vote on essentially making a physical puzzle that you are also fond of doing digitally. You'll get to vote on what element is made into a puzzle that you can buy in the web store.
As someone who accidentally contributed to this in this fashion, I need you all to get there. I need this validation. give me, please. Let's get a puzzle. I want a puzzle. I'll do the puzzle. Look, if we get there, not
you have
only
a camera, you could do the puzzle on stream.
Right. I was gonna say, not only will we commit to like getting the puzzle sorted, I will get a copy of the puzzle and I will do the puzzle on stream physically, and I will accept backseating from Twitch chat.
I don't know how well that'll work, but
it won't.
I like
That's the point, Matt. That's the point. It won't work at all.
I see. Okay.
All right. Next up, PAX West.
Oh, yeah.
Is arriving. It's not this coming weekend, but the weekend following, the last weekend of August. Importantly, if you are going to PAX West, please mark your calendars for Sunday, August 31st at 6:30 p.m. con time. In the Blue Dragon Theater, where there will be a design club featuring Matt and Jeff and Kat and some special guests.
Special guests are locked up. I believe Jasmine will be there, and I think we're waiting on one or two more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be fun. Also, side note, I just found out about this because I was just asked. A friend of the channel, Jenna Stober, is doing a phenomenal panel as well at 4 p.m. in the Firebird on Sunday. That is going to be called Tears of the Kingdom, but Tears spelled Tiers, where she, wonderful panel, and myself will be rating on a tier list various things from Tears of the Kingdom, Tears. So please check that out. Also, I believe, so yeah, Sunday is like stacked. You have that at 4. I believe the 5 p.m. at Firebird as well is movies with Mikey Newman and Dan Olson doing some chicanery that I absolutely love seeing. So I'll be in the audience watching that right before our design club panel at 6:30. So Sunday, I always forget that PAX West is Friday to Monday.
Yeah.
I'm always like, oh man, Sunday's the last day. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's correct. That does, however, mean that if you are looking forward to it, there will be no stream the 1st of September. There will be no...
So there'll be a breakfast next week, but not the following.
Correct. Yeah, we're giving you all advance notice so you can... Because we all know
so
that
you
mark...
flying planes.
Right, yeah, you won't...
We found out in the pre-show, Janet, that a member of Brad, who was it again?
Ouroboros was watching on a plane.
Is watching us on a plane. And then we basically made it canon that they were also flying the plane. But they're very skilled, and I'm sure it's fine.
They're flying low enough to catch everybody's Wi-Fi network to...
Yeah, and also, if they're clipping, they have to do it both physically and literally. Or metaphysically. Metaphorically. All the ways you can clip something, be it a video on Twitch or buzzing a tower.
Yeah, that seems correct. All right. Next up on our list... So I have made a mistake. I have already decided that I've made a mistake. I am starting Elden Ring for the first time. I am not historically the biggest fan of Souls-like games, but we're giving them a fair shot. So I'm starting this afternoon here on the Twitch channel my Elden Ring playthrough. I'm pretty sure I know what my build's gonna be. I think Matt knows what his build's gonna be. The reason that Matt's build is relevant is that I will have seamless co-op set up, so that Matt and a couple other cool people who I will be sending the password to once it's enabled will be able to drop in, drop out, and hang out, and, jump into calls while I play Elden Ring and try and become Elden Lord and also probably commit a minor arson. And by minor arson, I mean it's kind of a major arson. I've watched Matt play, I've just never played. So, there's this weird line between I do know kind of the major story beats, but I don't know a lot of the mechanics. So it's going to be a fun time with Twitch chat. So please join us for that.
Also, trying to recombobulate your ability to use the original Elden Ring control scheme after playing Night Rain for 80 plus hours is a task.
So I fixed that. Because I play Night Rain on the PS4 controller.
Sure.
I'm playing Elden Ring on the Switch Pro, so I don't get them confused.
Oh, look at you go.
I have figured... Also, the importance of the D-pad is very different between the two games.
Yeah.
And I need easier access to D-pad for Elden Ring than I do for Night Rain.
New guy, I like this comment, but I don't think there's anything extra. We'll be doing in place of push-ups when he dies. 30-second philosophy debate.
No. No. We don't have. My gimmick is that I don't like Dark Souls games.
Yeah.
There's a different gimmick at stake here.
back when I was doing Elden Ring, we did Elden Ring Fit, where I had to do a Ring Fit workout on the Nintendo Switch every time I died in Elden Ring, because we did Dark Souls, which was push-ups and sit-ups and nonsense. And
yeah,
Dark Souls will return if there's a Dark Souls 4.
Yeah, Pixel's also correct. I have done a lot of parry practice.
Yeah.
There
you go.
Yeah. Okay, cool, great. Let's get on to the news of the week. First up, Gamescom starts on Tuesday. We will not be co-streaming the opening. We can't make it work on our schedule because it's rudely in the middle of the day for the East Coast folks. We both have other obligations. But look forward to it next week. Pay attention to Gamescom. There will probably be some major game announcements, and we'll be talking about it next Monday.
Are there any games, at least, that have been announced right now that they're going to talk about it that you are excited about, Will?
So, I mean, say the line, Will. Well, they've said that there'll be a playable demo of Silksong at Gamescom. Great.
Yeah, but that's not going to help you.
No, it's not. I think nothing that like has been confirmed for opening night live is like super tickling my fancy right now. That doesn't mean that it won't. It just means that at this point, the big stuff generally doesn't land for me, right?
Sure.
Like most of the stuff that I'm interested in is like, tomorrow I'm playing The King is Watching. It's a 370 megabyte indie trash roguelike about running a kingdom. Like, that's what excites me at this point. So
right. Yeah, it's funny. I'm more excited to learn about the big names than play them in a lot of cases. That's not entirely true. Like Resident Evil has gotten me back after obviously Resident Evil 7 and Village. I think that the Resident Evil Requiem I'm interested in. I'd like to learn more about. I'm super pumped for Ghosts of Yotai. Ninja Gaiden, these are some of the confirmed ones that are going to be on the opening night live. Ninja Gaiden 4, I guess. I'm always interested in Ninja Gaiden, but every time I pick up one of the new ones after I think 2, I feel like I've just been a little bit disappointed. Silent Hill F, always on the lookout for that kind of stuff. World of Warcraft Midnight. Again, I'm never going back, but I do like to keep up to date with what is happening in Azeroth, so that's always nice to see some pretty cinematics.
I was given an anecdote that you may appreciate on the World of Warcraft front.
Okay.
The race to World First for the current raid tier is currently going on, and progress was halted because weak auras broke, and they'd practice the fight with weak auras instead of actually solving the mechanics themselves. So because weak auras broke, they couldn't prog for like half an hour till they fixed weak auras, which as a Final Fantasy 14 raider who's not allowed to use weak auras, I get a little chuckle out of.
Yeah.
It's there's nothing wrong with weak auras. It's just very different approaches.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine like not being able to because some plugin doesn't work, but they're also designed very differently, and I'm going to be very interested to see what Blizzard does potentially in the announcement for Midnight about removing the reliance on weak auras to do mechanics.
Totally. Side note, real quick, Luscious Lou want to know how I can watch these VODs of these chats. Just so you know, all of these will go up in the live tab on the regular YouTube channel, and all the VODs are there. So if you have to go, you have to jump. Thanks for hanging out for a bit. But if you got to watch it later, that's how you do that.
Yeah. And I think that this is also very accurate. There are many things I miss about playing early 2000s WoW with friends and friends and friends, but you don't miss WoW. That's how I feel about Destiny. Like I get that feeling, right? Like I remember raiding in Destiny 2 at launch, and I remember that feeling of like, hey, this is cool. We're all doing this together. And like the first time we cleared the first raid, and it was great and it was awesome, but like I don't actually miss the game. I miss the feeling.
WoW's that for me. There's no question. Destiny's a little different because I feel like I enjoyed the physicality, like the actual gameplay of Destiny more than I enjoyed the gameplay of WoW.
Agreed.
However, it is the feeling that everyone is chasing there is just like what I think. Okay, Destiny, your brain has to be, I think, and this isn't like in high tier raids and things. This is the same, I think, but like the majority of Destiny and the majority of WoW, I feel like you kind of have to be paying a little bit more attention just by the nature of it being a first-person shooter, like, and the fastness of it than you do in again, this is not talking about raids, this is not talking about boss battles, this is like the day-to-day grind of WoW.
Yeah.
Right? But I think what is a boon of that, and why that is actually a good thing, is one of the reasons why WoW felt so social is you could do both things. You could just go hang out with your friends and farm and chat. I mean, MMOs do that all the time, of course. You do it in 14 all the time.
Yep.
But like the gameplay was simple enough where almost anybody with almost no institutional knowledge of video games could play it and come hang out.
Yeah.
And that is why I think it has such a social hook in my comeuppance, I guess, of in sort of online video game space, because like every one of my friends played it, even who don't normally play games, and it was just a place to hang out with your friends in addition to high-end gameplay if you wanted it.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
But I miss it.
Yeah. So
we talk about it enough. We're just, again, to this point, I've heard literally nothing about World of Warcraft Midnight.
I'm excited mostly because of the things that they are changing. And I'm interested from like a very analytical design perspective to see what their current ongoing one-button rotation thoughts are. We've talked about that before. And the move away from weak ores and into, hey, you don't actually need any plugins to play this game. Because right now, the beginning of WoW is, all right, get all your plogons fixed. And you're like, wait, what? Right? And that's I think they're moving away from. So anyway, that's Gamescom. More on that. Yep. Yeah. More on that next week. All right. Next up.
Back in the day, you pay for whatever is trending, pal.
Yeah.
And that's a Modang plushie or whatever. What?
Start that whole thing again.
What happened?
Our sound app kicked you off of the channel and muted you in the middle. It wasn't loaded. It wasn't up. Yeah, I didn't touch anything. I was reading our notes, and then it was like, "Hey, Matt's muted," and I looked, and the sound was different. And all right, so anyway,
all right. This is a real actual PayPal ad that was up on billboards. Obviously, I'll let you see where I added things or changed it, but you pay for whatever is trending, pal, with the Modang plushie. Like, that is these are like ads they put up, and I was like, wow, okay. And so that's why we're using this graphic as the story that will now introduce.
Yeah, so one of the problems that's been happening on Steam has now sort of trended over to PayPal, which is that several payment processors have threatened to pull out of Steam because Steam has not safe for work or adult-only content on it. PayPal being the most recent one. However, it's a little more interesting than that. Quote, in early July 2025, PayPal notified Valve that their acquiring bank for payment transactions in certain currencies was immediately terminating the processing of any transactions related to Steam. This affects Steam purchases using PayPal in currencies other than the euro, Canadian dollar, the British pound, the Japanese yen, the Australian dollar, and the US dollar. So, and that's all from Steam's purchasing issues FAQ, as reported by Rock Paper Shotgun. So that's huge. So if you're not using euros, some form of the dollar, the British pound, or the yen, you cannot currently process transactions on Steam. You have to go into one of those currencies and do it that way. But that might not be possible depending on where your Steam is set up. Because a reminder that the currency that you're using is not in all cases, but most cases, region locked by Steam. So this is another big snafu.
Yeah, I'm not sure where this is going. I don't
I'm not sure either. Valve is saying that, by the way, you could just get Steam gift cards from places and put balance into your Steam account and then purchase whatever you want in those countries that way. That is obviously a corpo immediate workaround because they don't want to lose all of the revenue from every country that's not using any of those currencies.
But even so, like, this will hurt. Like, and again,
Absolutely.
I don't know what the revenue amount is from countries that aren't using these currencies regardless. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But anytime you have to do a secondary window, you'll drop 10 down to like 10 to 20% of it. Like I even use, so here's an interesting thing that I've been yelling at YouTube to fix forever. You cannot link to any video in a short outside of your channel. So in the case of we're doing that calendar Kickstarter, right? We can't actually point you at the end of a short that mentions the calendar to that Kickstarter. We have to send you to a video that is, it could be listed, any video, we choose to unlist it, an unlisted video about the calendar Kickstarter that then has a link. So rather than A to B, it's A to B to C. And in this particular, and we've noticed that there's roughly a 10 to 20% drop off. Let me rephrase that. An 80 to 90% drop off, meaning about 10 to 20% of people actually move over that make it to the end of a video. So here it's the same thing, right? Like these companies, there's no way that there's not going to be a monetary drop off, even because you still have to either go to a drugstore and buy a Steam gift card, right, or order one online and have it delivered. Or I think sometimes there are, actually, I'm not sure if this works, if there are like gift card codes you can order online from places.
I imagine that there are. That is a service that is available in some places. You do need to be very careful with that.
Yeah.
Because that is a way that scams happen. They will send you codes and then not acknowledge or send you fake or used codes. Gift card codes over the internet are a weird and very sketch kind of thing for like if they're trying to translate physical cards into online.
So my point is, anytime you have to go from A to B to C rather than just A to C, I guess, it really does limit you. Now, again, I don't know what the full market value of the countries that don't use these specific types of currencies is, so I don't know what the actual detriment is. But I just, look, as we know, and we've said on this show many times, no art is political. So, I don't want to dive into politics here, but there is an interesting correlation about a lot of the stories that we're going to be talking about. And I will use the phrase that I feel like I never love saying because it's been co-opted, but you can all do your own research and essentially look at like why this is happening now. In the grander context of all of the other things that are going on. This is a video game talk show, and we're going to talk about video games.
That's right.
But this is a specific thing that also, it's very interesting to me in all of these stories we'll talk about today, the timing of all of this.
I agree.
And again, this is not me saying there's a grand puppeteering conspiracy nonsense. No. It's when the winds shift, that's where the boats go. Like, that's just sort of how it kind of functions. So, I'm curious to see where this all kind of goes, both with the MasterCard stuff and now with PayPal. Again, and I want to make it very clear too. This Steam and online purveyors here are not also blameless. I think that they don't do a good enough job at basically keeping an eye on their store.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that anything there should be actual humans looking at things and figuring out if they want it in their store or not? That's basically how it should function.
Yes.
And
they make enough money to pay people to do that work.
And now, various groups are pressuring payment processors in bad faith to get different agendas across because of this crack in the armor. So, I don't know. It's complicated. We have a couple episodes about this before we can dive deeper. This is just more the continuation of it, and now PayPal jumping on board.
And the specific currencies in general being refused to be processed does mean that parts of the world that are not Japan, Australia, the U.S., Great Britain, or sorry, the U.K., I guess, because all the U.K. uses the pound. And what was the last one? I'm missing one. Oh, I'm missing one.
Also, role playing. It was a joke.
Yeah. Oh no.
Everything. For just to be very clear, everything is political. Politics is the interaction of people.
That's right.
And,
this stream is by its nature political because there are people here talking about things that involve people. Yeah, right. That's
so
the depth. Yes.
So obviously, all art is political. I mean, that was me being cheeky.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, did my Discord ping through?
No.
I got a message and I want to make sure. Perfect. It's set to the right thing. None of you. Great. Okay. I didn't have to call that out.
All right. Great. Let's jump to, speaking of things that are totally going fine. So Pokemon.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I'm hating it. So this was it. Pokemon had a promotion, and this is in Japan, by the way. It's Japan. They had a thing where they put. I could have told them this was going to go poorly. They put Pokemon cards in Happy Meals. Now, if you weren't paying, if you have never looked at the behavior of humans as regards Pokemon trading cards, simply read Lord of the Flies and you won't be far off. I'm pretty sure I've seen grown adults clustering around a Pokemon card vending machine chanting pig, pig, pig. And so could have told them this was going to go poorly, but it's gone super poorly to the extent that they are having to overhaul the entire way that the promotion works, because what you are seeing here is food being wasted. People were ordering mass quantities of Happy Meals and then dumping the food, which...
No.
Why? This can't have nice things. Yes.
Listen, I don't have a lot of faith in scalpers.
Right.
But like, couldn't they, like... Yeah, okay. Hey, scalpers. I know you watch this show.
Right, yeah.
You have a really big PR problem, namely that you're kind of pieces of shit. But if you wanted to kind of clean that up, something you could do is maybe work with some shelters or people who are in need of food to then give the food away that you're doing to scalp these Pokemon cards. You dummies.
Yeah.
Like this picture sucks. Like,
yeah, this is not okay. And like, also, can I just gonna piggyback. This makes all of us look bad. This makes all of the card gamers and the fans of things look, because these are the stories that breach containment. These are the stories that like get onto the mainstream news about like large amounts of food just being dumped in a craze as Pokemon fans clamor for limited edition promotional merch and act poorly, right? This is one of Pokemon's biggest problems, is that for some reason, grown adults completely lose their mind when Pokemon's involved. I will remind people that in the early days of Pokemon Go, they had to remind people to not play in cemeteries and to not tag team logos all over the place, because people were spray painting Pokemon team logos near various Pokestops. People and Pokemon, when they mix, people lose their minds. Just absolutely lose all sense and common decency, apparently. Like, this is just infuriating to me. That people are just, like, so many levels. Abandoning food, making people's lives harder, denying children, the intended audience of this, the ability to maybe get a cool thing that kid might enjoy, right? Like,
now, and I'm not as deep into this element of Pokemon as some in chat might be. What is the responsibility of the Pokemon company and McDonald's here? Now this isn't like the first time that this has happened.
Correct. There were problems with this at the Van Gogh Museum.
There's precedent and data to show that people are going to act like garbage and scalpers are going to be idiots and all this stuff. Like, we know this is going to happen. Mm-hmm. At what point is there also something to say about how like someone, I forget who in chat said these should all be common cards? Like, if we want it to be for kids, like, and things that people don't, or like things you can get elsewhere, this should just be free card with no chance of pulling a great thing. Like it should be. So, do you know what I mean?
So part of the problem is that Pokemon has this history of making promotional cards not powerful, but unique, right?
But rare.
Rare because they're only part of that promotion, but people want exclusivity because that's what brings people for the promotion, right? At least in their mind is like Pikachu with a gray felt hat isn't a good card. It's just rare for the sake of being rare. And part of the problem with Pokemon right now is that the consumption and collection of Pokemon cards is far more relevant on the economic side of things than the actual power level for gameplay, right?
So really, what's Nintendo and the Pokemon Company and McDonald's are complicit then in just not really caring about the experience and trying to get as much product out the door as possible. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whereas I think now a backlash, especially in Japan, as RD mentioned, in Japan, that's a rather taboo thing to do, just to waste so much food.
And to leave litter around in general.
Yeah, and so that's going to come back and bite McDonald's harder than normal in this. I wish there was a way, like, I understand they're trying to get people through the door. That's what a tie-in does. But when you're dealing with a product that actually has scarcity be part of its value proposition, which again, you can debate the morals or usefulness of that when it comes to something that is artificial.
Yep.
It makes it so much more complicated. This sucks in a lot of different levels.
It does.
However, I will say there is another fast food joint that is doing a very different kind of promotion very, very right. I give you the, I believe it is called the Misery and Misfortune meal from Wendy's.
That's correct.
It is not a happy meal. Wendy says there is nothing happy about this meal. It is 10 chicken nuggets with 4 mystery sauces that apparently are all spicy and a blood strawberry dripped Frosty and some fries. It's to promote the second season of Wednesday on Netflix. Now, I am not a big fast food person. When I travel, if I'm on the highway, I'll stop and get something. I'm going to find a Wendy's and buy this. Like, this worked. I don't think it's a good deal. I don't think the chicken nuggets are particularly good. And the sauces being a mystery, also bad. But the lizard part of my brain is just like, well done.
Right.
Well done.
And there's another difference, and I want to hold this up, right? The food is the point, not ancillary to the thing that is drawing people in, right?
And it's also IP synergistic. There's a whole press release about this that we'll have in the show notes. But like, they're talking about like, oh, well, the other well-known pigtailed girl, Wednesday Addams, because obviously Wendy also has pigtails.
Right.
It says, what happens when 2 iconic pigtailed provocateurs join forces in the kitchen? They create a meal that is pure punishment in a bag.
Right.
And it's like, you know your audience, you're doing a service with your brand and the IP that you are matching with. Again, I think fast food and Wendy's has some problems, of course, but like, this just feels like the right kind of thing to move your chicken nuggets as opposed to the Pokemon one, because no one's buying this and throwing out the chicken nuggets.
Right. You're buying it for the chicken nuggets because you want to try the stupid spicy sauces with your friends and watch as everyone runs for their Frosty. By the way, really smart idea. Super spicy stuff and the Frosty.
Yeah. Also, I'll try that guy if I can get. I don't know. It must be a Wendy's in New York.
Tell you what, we can also try. This didn't make the fast food news for this week. There is a new flavor of Baja Blast at Taco Bell.
Oh, I do have a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It's like Midnight Purple or something.
Yeah, it's like Midnight Purple. I will happily do a review of that because that is the only thing that I can consume that is produced at a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they use the term I think they use the term pigtails because they can be considered it. They are braids as well, but like I think they wanted to have the alliteration of provocateurs.
Yeah.
Pigtailed provocateurs is why I think. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. What flavor is the sundae? I think it's strawberry with the vanilla frosty.
Okay.
Anyway, I thought this was great. I wanted to have a nice happy story to mix with the McDonald's nonsense. And now, with all the fast food brands who we know watch, there's an example of a bad thing to do, an example of a good thing to do.
Yep.
'Cause we're nothing if not helpful.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of helpful, it's time to give you a helpful update on the Krafton lawsuit. Oh, boy.
Oh, good.
So
we need like a theme song at this point for the Krafton story.
Well, this is going to be the last one for a bit.
Okay.
So, what has happened now?
I have the theme song, Will. I'm so sorry.
I hate this theme song. No, why is it the drought? God. Everyone's getting anxiety. Okay, great. So the founders of Unknown Worlds, the triumvirate, filed their legal complaint against Krafton. And this is probably going to be the last thing that we hear until we start getting like actual trial news. But Krafton's response to their filing is thorough and scathing. In legal speak, it's a lot of we didn't do any of this, they're lying. We didn't do any of that, they're also lying. These things are technically true, but unhelpfully so. So, and the reason that we bring it up is that if you would like to read it for yourself, we'll have it in the show notes. The complete text of the response to the original legal complaint is now available. So you can read through. There's been a lot. This is one of the very interesting cases where it doesn't actually matter what a court decides, because the way that this is playing out is really about the fate of Subnautica in the public court of opinion, which is a fascinating sort of twist to this. It doesn't, like, the money that people are seeking on either side isn't really gonna be the core of the issue. The core of the issue is who comes out of this, Krafton or the Unknown Worlds team, comes out looking better in the public opinion. And so it's very interesting to see a legal brief or a legal document that is very much, in my opinion, written to be read by the general public and to be consumed as like as a thing that they're willing to say in a court document, right? That like,
yeah, the more this goes on, the more it seems as though, and this is removing all morality as much as I can from the tale. It seems as though both groups entered into this deal about Subnautica 2 with the idea that they were going to be able to one-up the other group.
Correct.
Whatever side of that moral coin you fall on after reading all the information, that's between you and some otherworldly deity that you may or may not chat to from time to time.
Yep.
Everything has been like increasing levels of thorough, which does tend to make me believe that they're both were like, no, we can get these losers. Like, it just feels like both sides were trying to do that from the jump. And now we'll see which one actually does end up going through, because it feels like the three owners. I always blank. What's the initial company that they sold or they're a part of?
Unknown Worlds.
Unknown Worlds. Those three folks will probably come back with a very detailed other list around these things as well. And so,
here's the very interesting thing that I'm gonna say. This is and I want everyone to listen to this because I don't want people to misconstrue. If, and this is a huge if, I am not saying this is the case, if everything that both sides are saying is true and uncontested, like if they're not saying yes, no, right? If everything that both sides have kind of agreed to is true, it doesn't really look good for the Unknown Worlds crew. They're going to need to find something new, in my opinion, to dispute. Because if everything that they've both agreed to is true, it doesn't look like the founders of Unknown Worlds were doing a great job. That is not to say that that is the case, merely that is where we're at this stage in the legal proceedings with what has been leveraged. Because there's a lot of things in this briefing that are contested, right? That like the Unknown Worlds team is like, these things happened. And and Krafton is like, none of these things happened, right? That is not a thing that we can base any evidence on unless you're willing to just take what one side says on faith. The other really interesting thing, by the way, in all of this, there is a redaction if you're looking. The redactions are for the profit from Subnautica and the potential release dates of Subnautica 2 are all redacted. So they did go to...
Isn't that the crux of the entire thing, though?
No, because the year is unredacted. If it's in the past, right? It's they just don't want to say when this year they're planning on releasing it, because that is like an industry secret kind of thing, along with the amount of money that they made. So just as you're looking into it, be aware that there are redactions. So
we'll see. I feel like this is the fourth time we've talked about this as it keeps moving down the pipeline.
Hopefully, they'll last for a while. All right. Yeah. I think we got time. Yeah, we got time. Matt. Are you gonna cosplay when you go to the KPop Demon Hunters sing-along screening?
Yes. No. I wish I had time to. I do not. They are now, everybody, rejoice, for KPop Demon Hunters is now coming to a theater near you, not just on your smallish screen from Netflix. They are going to do legitimate sing-along versions of this movie to help seal the honeymoon. If you have not seen the movie, I won't spoil what that is, but it is kind of interesting that a sing-along also works narratively with the movie.
It does. It's also very interesting. This KPop Demon Hunters has broken a lot of Netflix trends, which is one of the reasons why they were like immediately like, greenlight a sequel. I don't know how I feel about that one, but like, the movie slaps. The movie literally, and I was talking to my roommate about this last night, the movie is literally, what if we took the Disney formula and stripped out a lot of the restrictions that Disney places upon themselves to keep it family friendly, but use the Disney formula to tell a different story, and it's really, really good at doing that. It turns out the Disney formula is good. Disney is not the only one who can do the Disney formula, in case we've all forgotten DreamWorks.
Right. If you are interested to see if it is available in your city, it will be in the show notes. It's singkpopdemonhunters.com, and I believe it's on the 23rd and the 24th, mostly Regal cinemas. However, I think it's funny. Netflix bought the Paris cinema in New York City, and I'm curious if there's a actually. Oh no, it's sold out. Great. Okay, never mind. But the yeah, they're going fairly quickly. So if you are interested in this, please go check that out. I know I was really hoping it was AMC because I am a Stubbs member. However, it is not. I will happily pay to go see this in select theaters August 23rd and 20th. It's such a good idea.
Yeah, it really is.
It's such a good idea. I'm very happy. So it's funny. We recorded our podcast episode on KPop Demon Hunters like weeks ago, but like it's only gotten more popular. But we've been holding it because Sheer and I were traveling and a bunch of other things. But I believe it's going to release next week, next Sunday. And like it seems like this is the right time. It's getting a theatrical release. It's on the top of the Billboard charts it's like it feels like this is the movie that every parent, like every kid, is asking their parents to watch like 9 times, and parents aren't minding. Like look, Frozen is great. From what I hear, you kind of want to die after the 9th time you watch Frozen. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So yeah, and some smaller landmark chains, Dolphin, to your point, are doing them as well.
Yep. Okay, cool. So we're probably gonna have to split this story up around ads, but that's okay because it's a big story, and we're gonna be talking about it for a hot second. Are you ready, Matt, to talk about?
Hey,
Louisiana is suing.
What you doing, Louisiana?
Is suing Roblox, Matt.
Ah!
Insert oof.
Oof.
Oof. Okay. So. I don't even know where
is completely not political.
Yeah, super apolitical. Yeah, totally. All right. Let's go through some basics because we're going to establish all of our groundwork. It is entirely possible that lots of people watching the show may not know how big Roblox is.
Sure.
Roblox is huge. Its recent high was just shy of 22 million concurrent players, most of whom are kids, or at least, and this is one of the main objects of contention in this lawsuit, say that they are kids. And that is a huge problem. Roblox has had a lot of allegations, pretty serious ones leveled against it in the past for the way that it interacts with children doing labor, intellectual labor, coding, making things that those kids then can't profit from. There have been cases of kids making like mini corporations in Roblox to make Roblox games, and like that's all super weird and very, depending on your legal jurisdiction, either illegal or barely legal or in a gray space, or but that is not the main part of the argument. But suffice it to say, this is not the first time Roblox has been in the news for doing weird legal stuff. And Roblox is a huge deal. Okay, so both of those things kind of need to be established up front if you're not aware, because this might just be me. Roblox isn't a huge thing on Twitch. Roblox actually is barely a whisper on Twitch, and so it doesn't interact primarily with my workspace.
I have a theory on that.
Yeah, please.
I think the theory on that is Roblox itself is a destination, not just a game. Like the communities in Roblox are playing these games together, or all engaging in that, and you're not watching someone else play Roblox. You're playing Roblox. Like, does that feel correct? And again, I don't know. I've only researched Roblox. I haven't actually played it. But like, that's what it feels like. It feels more like an app and less something that you watch. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and Yogurt also brings up a great point. Can't be on Twitch if you're under 12.
Yeah, that's correct. So I cannot stress enough how weird this is. The Republican Attorney General of Louisiana, by the way, is the one who's going after Roblox. That's weird for a whole bunch of reasons we don't have time or inclination to get into here, but it is worth noting as a weird thing. Well,
it's not weird. Like, okay, this might be a little redactive, but we only have an hour. Broken clock?
Yeah, it kind of feels broken clock-ish.
Like, the phrase broken clock is right twice a day. The opinions are my own, as are wills of blah, 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 blah. But like, that's what this sort of feels like, right? Like,
I think that's
you
true.
could gestures broadly and look at the draconian nonsense that is sort of coming down all over the place and be like, well, that's some BS. And then you can look at this, which is part of the same suit, and also, or not the same lawsuit, but the same grouping or vibe, and really see that, yeah, this has been a problem for a minute, you know?
Yep. Okay, cool. Great. Awesome. I got it. Excellent. Wonderful. Sorry.
What'd you get?
I had to click a button at exactly noon, and I clicked a button at exactly noon. The magic...
You monster. Will doesn't have a problem. Will has a solution.
This is a thing that I want to... this is a thing I want to get to actually do with my little brother. This is a limited edition booster box that has a bunch of really cool cards, and I've traditionally really enjoyed doing this with my little brother, so I'm trying to get one so we can do that together. So we can draft it together. So, okay, so I'm also checking our ad time because we've got 1 minute and 50 seconds till ads. So we'll do the rest of our setup, and then we'll talk about what this means afterwards, I think.
Yeah.
So the main claim by this AG is, quote, and I'm quoting here, Roblox is overrun with harmful content and child predators. Because it prioritizes user growth, revenue, and profits over child safety, every parent should be aware of the clear and present danger posed to their children by Roblox so they can prevent the unthinkable from ever happening in their own home. That's the allegation that's being leveled against Roblox by a state AG here in the US. I don't know how much more serious allegations could, there's not very many more serious allegations that could be leveled against a live service platform whose target audience is children than the ones that Louisiana is leveling against Roblox right now. This does feel, in my opinion, like it has the potential to spiral into an existential threat to this if it goes the way Louisiana wants it to go. I don't know if it will, but that's my kind of take on the initial outlay of it.
Yeah. I mean, the state is seeking permanent injunctive relief and prohibiting them from, quote, this is from Kotaku, engaging in any activity in violation of Louisiana Unfair Trade Practices Act, representing that Roblox has adequate safety features, restitution to the state of Louisiana, attorney fees, all additional civil penalties allowed under law, and all additional damages allowable under law.
Yeah. So, while that digests and everyone sits with that, we're going to do a funny improv bit for a little bit while Twitch gets some ads, and we'll come back with thoughts and a breakdown of that here in not terribly long.
All right. Will, do you want to start?
I would love to start.
Okay, here you go. Here's an advertisement for a thing that you cannot buy.
That's right. Hey there. Will from Extra Credits here. Is staring at all of the political news that's all over the video game space recently making you feel down? Consider following more pet pictures on your social media. That's right. In fact, one of my favorites is an entire account on Blue Sky that exclusively posts pictures of cats in bodegas. That's right, everybody. You should follow cute cats, cute dogs, animal rescues, because while it is important to pay attention to all of these things and to be an informed consumer and to be engaged in the political sphere that takes over our art, it is also important to stay sane.
I also would like to tag in something real quick to Will's. There is a wonderful Blue Sky account called Possums Every Hour. It does what it says in the tin.
Right. And it should also be noted that a lot of these are just textless. There's no please go do a thing. There's nothing. It's literally just someone who has a bot and points a folder at that bot and says, upload all these pictures of cats in bodegas. And that's it. And that is a beautiful thing. Beautiful part of the internet, right? It's just, we get to look at cute cats.
All right, here we go. This one is completely half-baked, and we're going to see if it goes somewhere.
Sure.
Hey, everyone. Matt from Extra Credits here. Are you a person who usually argues in bad faith, but then all of a sudden you got something right? Well, then may I interest you in broken clocks. That is right. You can take any clock that you see around, preferably you should already own it, and then just break it and leave it at whatever time it is. And then at certain points, it will still be the correct time of day, which is probably the same amount of time that you, normally doing bad faith arguments, especially if you're breaking clocks that you don't own, would be doing with arguments trying to get people to believe various things. Now, should we be able to see through everything that you are doing? Yes, absolutely. But with a broken clock, you'll be right at least two times a day. It kind of worked. It was all right.
It was okay.
It was all right.
Yeah,
it was 5 out of 10.
By the way, status update. So I got in line. The actual second that the product went live. I'm currently in line for more than an hour is my current expected queue time. So we'll see if I get it by the end of the show, but I probably won't. We'll find out this afternoon how long it actually takes.
Hey, everyone. Matt from Extra Credits here. Do you like waiting? Well, let me introduce to you the absolutely free thing you could do, a queue line. That's right, you don't even have to leave your home anymore to get in a line for a thing that you want. Simply do what Will has just done. Sign on to the website at exactly when these pre-orders are supposed to go live, and then hit a button and be told that in over an hour, you'll get to pre-order the thing that you want. Hooray! Queue lines! You don't have to buy it, but you can wait as though you are going to, and there's a simple chance that you might not actually get the thing that you are waiting for.
That's fine. I tried.
Yeah.
Like, I totally tried. For any Magic nerds in chat, it's the Atlanta convention in a box, and it comes with a box of Mystery Booster 2s.
Nice.
And that the Mystery Booster experience is premium for drafting and for doing stuff with people. And it's also got a bunch of promos and some other cool things. And yeah, it's a fun little thing. Okay, I believe our ads are over in 15 seconds, and then we will return to screaming. I think just screaming. I think the way that I feel about this is best described as just continuous screaming.
Okay. I believe you.
Yeah.
You let me know when we're back.
We are, in fact, back.
Boom.
So, all right. I want to put aside and I think this is hard for me too, and I want to be honest about this, the political leanings of the person and the general political leanings of the government of the state in question when we talk about this, right? Because I think it is really easy to get lost in the partisan nature of this rather than focusing on did Roblox do something wrong here, or was Roblox negligent here, right? So we're gonna try very hard to ignore that partisan part of this story, even though it is sort of an inevitable part of it. We've acknowledged it. It is a part of the story. We're going to leave that alone for the moment and focus instead on the Roblox part of it, because I think that is where we can actually get somewhere that's not just partisan screaming.
Yeah. Agreed.
So
we already had our fun.
Yeah, we had our fun. So there are, here's one of the problems. Problem the first. There is no age verification or any kind of check on signing up as a child to Roblox. Nor could there really be one. Right?
Like, what do you mean, why could there not be one?
How would you do it?
You would, now again, every version of this has problems.
Correct.
So but if we are going to go with the preconceived notion that a parent should be in charge of what their child does and what information you give about your child online.
Yes.
There are ways that parents, if they try, and I'm not saying you should or should not do this, could prove the age of a child for their child.
Yes.
Again, lots of problems with that, but I never want to dismiss the concept of what is it? The perfect being the enemy of the good, or whatever.
The enemy of the good. Yes.
Because right now it's a free-for-all nightmare.
Yes.
So something's gotta happen.
Correct.
And there's not a lot of great things on a lot of different ways. There's no solution that fixes the entirety of the problem.
Correct. And I also do want to point out that Medusa Skirt here has a really great point, which is that there is a constant tension here between verification of the age of children, right? In order to put kids in a playground with only other kids that is walled and safe, right? And protecting that child's privacy, right? That is a huge, there is a balancing act, right? Security and access are a spectrum, the most secure server is one that is off and buried in concrete. Right. But then it's useless. So there is a scale here. Each individual parent, user, company, government is going to have to decide where they would like their products, things that are available in their jurisdiction, things that they give to their kids to fall on that scale. But we need to acknowledge that, like, it's not working right now. There's a lot of, like, very questionable, not questionable, bad. There's some bad stuff on Roblox. I was trying to be politically correct about it. No, there is some straight up heinous stuff I will not repeat that is available to kids on Roblox.
Yeah.
Roblox has a problem.
Now, here's sort of, let's pause there for a second and sidestep into the corpo nonsense of Roblox as a company. Is this laziness and trying to get absolutely all of the money? Possibly. Very well could be. Is Roblox as a company still profitable and able to take as big swings as it does if it does do this, because it will limit their player size? Now, I would argue that for the betterment of humans, I don't care if this makes it fail. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
However, if you're thinking like a corpo, that is something that I imagine is crossing a lot of the C-suite's minds when it comes to this stuff. Now, the true issue is you're skirting lines and sitting on Easy Street until you basically get a lawsuit from a state.
Right.
And then the entire thing, like, that just kicks the door open.
Correct.
And the entire thing can come crumbling down. Now, there are Roblox as an institution, that's an odd sentence, is both helpful and incredibly problematic in very different ways. On the good side of things, Roblox tends to can be kids' first forays into actual game design, which is something that is, I think, cool and important. However, then there's the predatory nature in which the business side of it can be injected into it when they're at a very young age. Then there's all of the stuff that the lawsuit in Louisiana is bringing about predators getting in the system, etc.
Let me try this another way. By
Sure.
the way, let me see if this also helps. I'm gonna say that there is no really good way for Roblox to continue to implement their business model if we reframe it. Roblox is largely a free-to-play game, right? Mm-hmm. You can pay money for certain cosmetics and for access to some in-game currency, which you can pay or tip, and there is an in-game economy, but you can play for free. Which means, as we've discussed before, if you're not paying for a service, you're not a consumer, you are the product.
Right.
So now we have an entire ecosystem that is trying to make children into a product, and then we're really shocked Pikachu face when children as a product are being treated like a product by people who should not be treating like children, who shouldn't be dealing with children at all, right?
Yeah, because there's an interesting, you know what, Will, that's an excellent recontextualization, because in truth, we adults signing up for any service with a EULA,
yes,
however loose or draconian that is with any of our personal data that we agree to let loose on the field, we are adults with the forethought and knowledge, or we should have it. We have it more under the legal framework.
We are responsible for not having that forethought in a legal and practical sense. There you go. Right?
That's another great, rewording.
A kid could not be responsible for not having it because they're a kid and they right?
Yeah. So I don't see them getting out from under this.
So we've got a Kotaku article that we'll link that has some author thoughts. I've tried to base largely what I've been thinking about and saying about the lawsuit on the actual context of the statements made by the Louisiana AG rather than parroting someone else's opinion. I will say that I do agree with their take that I don't actually know how much they're going to be able to stick this in Louisiana specifically. It may need to go broader. They would have to prove harm against specifically people in Louisiana, I believe, for the jurisdiction to matter, and then they'd have to go somewhere else. It's a little more complicated because of some legal stuff. But I also think that this is, regardless of why this is being done, and there's an argument that this is just being done as like lip service or as a publicity stunt. I don't really think it matters why you're doing it. It's still trying to hold Roblox to account for being scummy.
Yes. It is very difficult in the current political climate to take anything, I'll even be hyper generous, that the opposite side says as an act of good faith, regardless of what side you are on. For whatever reasons that is. I just, so something like this, I would say, as Will and I, which are some pretty hard lefties, seeing something like this, we're instantly going to be like, oh, but like at the same time, that's just from who did it. And like,
so there is, yeah, like,
I go back to the current like political wins thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about the AI age restriction of some things going on and a couple other things and whatever. There's a there's a reason why the "won't you think of the children" excuse works so well as a political dog whistle. And the reason that is in a few cases, Roblox, it seems as though that is very true. And then the second you can have that, then it can sort of permeate out, even though what is being done would protect kids and would be moving us in a good general direction. That the thing that always sticks in my craw is, well, now they're going to use this one time the clock was right and be like, well, now the clock just works. You're like, wait,
right.
Like it worked right here and this is good and I'm happy you're doing it. Thank you so much for doing that. It's not a universal thing. It's not a cudgel you can now swing and hit everything with. I think that's where my complexity kind of where I have trouble even discussing this. You know what I mean?
So okay, so the all right, we're gonna do this because I don't think there's a good way to do it without it. There's a difference in two words that are often in the United States in particular used interchangeably. One of them is political and the other one is partisan. Right? And so lots of times those two things are used interchangeably, right? That something that is political is by definition partisan. That's not necessarily true. As we said earlier, political things merely relate to the relationships between people. That's literally all that means. It's originally like it's a matter of the city, and the city in this case means any collection of people who are acting together and living together, right? That's all it means. But partisan things tend to be very divided, right? But I do think it is a political thing that should be nonpartisan. Wild case here that our kids should be safe on the internet. And so I want to avoid making that into too much of a partisan thing, even though that is my instinct based on the current political climate. Right?
It's hard to, it's hard to differentiate it when you have a group that you've watched intrinsically not give a crap about kids, be it healthcare, education, school lunches, like things like, where you're like, look at all the ways that there's elements where they just really don't seem to give a crud. But this one, they do, and they should, but they should care about all of it. But it feels less, it feels disingenuous when it's the one thing that happens to align with their political dog whistles that move forward.
Yes.
Again, I want the good thing to happen. I want a company like Roblox to be held accountable and either somehow, and I don't know how, clean up this cesspool of a place or cease? I don't know what the answer is.
I am at this point, given the more we talk about this and the more I am seeing the laundry list of crimes that Roblox is being accused of, and I'm going to use crimes not in a legal sense, but in a moral one.
Moral crimes.
Yeah, burn it all to the ground. Just burn the whole thing to the ground. Like, I don't...
Can we talk about that for a second? Can we, okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Let's do this. This is an interesting thing, too. Also, Will, you're on fire today. You've made like 3 points that have taken the gobbledygook in my head and been like, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So thank you for that.
Thanks.
But okay, let's take away the incredible amount of money that would be lost by corporations if Roblox disappeared tomorrow.
Easily done. Yeah, I don't care about the money, great.
Well, I mean, okay.
It's not about the money, Matt. It's about sending a message.
Right. But before that, let me just also be clear. Not everything is simple. I don't know how many people work at Roblox. Not every one of them is evil. That would mean many people lose their jobs. There's some bad stuff that would happen there too,
right,
for the greater good. I never like to just one side.
Yeah, we're going to acknowledge that there are consequences to the thing that we are proposing.
But let's pretend for a moment that we don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about young people and video games and or game design. So what the need, in my opinion, or maybe even like current online community. And again, people correct me when I am wrong here, but it feels like the benefit of kids playing Roblox for their, and I use benefit in like air quotes, but like the thing that they get out of it,
right, the enjoyment.
It's fun. They have an online community, probably their first. Not saying that it's safe. That's why we're all in this discussion anyway. And if they want to, they can either play games with their friends or learn how to make games.
Mm-hmm.
This goes away tomorrow. Kids will be upset, sure, but many things upset kids kind of for their own good. And if we had to rebuild what the good things that Roblox maybe was initially trying to do, and I asked this to Brad and Janet right now too, what are some constructive good ideas if money wasn't an issue and Roblox is gone tomorrow? What are the solutions that could be done with a product or a thing that could do those things without all of the harm that Roblox is basically ignoring?
Yeah.
Is there even a way to do that? Or is the solution, as we are going to talk about with some other online age restrictions, is the solution just, kids really shouldn't be doing that yet? And from an online, so you could learn game design. I'm sure there's like many different ways to do that.
Right.
But like,
so I think Medusa Skirt has a really great question that sort of leads us in a direction here.
Yeah.
How did Minecraft not end up here? And that's a really great question. I have some thoughts on why Minecraft didn't end up here. Minecraft is in a bunch of silos, generally speaking. Right? Minecraft is in silos. You are in servers, right? And each of those servers is responsible for its own conduct and can be separately burned to the ground if there's a problem, right? And different networks are in charge of maintaining them, right? Hypixel is in charge of maintaining the Hypixel network. That's their bag, right? But you can also play Minecraft by yourself in a place where you can learn the fundamentals of game design. You can build an adventure map. You can learn simple, people make calculators in Minecraft. There's all kinds of things that can be learned there about logic gates and the like in that space. But I do think that part of the thing is that it's not all one contiguous space.
Yeah.
It is a series of discrete spaces. And I think that is a big asset to Minecraft in not making a whole big pool of kids accessible to gross people, right? To terrible excuses for human beings. There is... Right. So there's that is a thing, right? Because I think the size of the community and the contiguous nature of it is part of the problem. Because it's too big to manage, right? It's too big to manage in any realistic way. There's just too much, right? It's why, for instance, each YouTube channel is responsible for policing their own comment section. It's the same reason that each Twitch channel is responsible for moderating their own comment section, right? But Roblox
and truly, does that stagger growth? Oh yeah, because
absolutely.
you have to do it, but it also makes what you have far better.
Yes, like absolutely, and we've worked on that here, right? Like here.
Shout out to the mods.
Shout out, yeah, right. There are mods. If you don't think they're there, they are. They're just hiding and will show up when needed. Right?
They arrive precisely when they mean to.
That's correct. And we could not do what we do without the moderation team, right? It is one of the things that I think is like the most important things that I work on. So is working with the mods. So I think it's too big. I think one of the big problems is that retaining membership in a contiguous online giant space is how they make money. So their profit motivation is in keeping as many people in that space as possible for as long as possible. And that already involves some dark psychology versus Minecraft, which is pay once, get it forever, right? Like I'm one of the people, I'm a pretty big Minecraft stan. I'm of the opinion that when a kid starts to play video games, you should just buy them their copy of Minecraft because you can make it age appropriate. You can adjust the difficulty. There are lots of things they can learn. They can build. They can be creative in a sandbox that you as a parent can control. And it's $30 now, right? Great. Awesome. It's their copy of Minecraft. They've got it forever. And that sort of tells a different story than, hey, come play Roblox, stay here continuously so that we can continue to make profit.
Make this your job.
Right. There are
that's kind of that is kind of the end goal of Roblox, right?
Yes,
like
correct.
And that doesn't mean that there's not good things that can come with it too, but you essentially their goal is to get people who are young, get them to learn their thing, make things in their thing, making things in their thing their job.
Yes. Yeah. And Chad is correctly pointing out that Roblox allows you to make unlimited accounts without needing a Gmail. Yeah, that's another big one, right?
That's insane.
Yes, that's correct. I can't sign up for a social media account anywhere without that, right? And so it feels like one of the reasons that I think we just need to burn Roblox to the ground right now is that it feels like there is a complete abdication of acknowledging the responsibility that they have to curate this space safely for children. Right? They just, like, these things don't feel like they're particularly difficult to do, given that most places do them, right? And they
I don't think it's, to do the things that will help it, not fix it, are not difficult. The fact that they haven't, after the scrutiny from was it People Make Games did the doc? No, someone did Game Maker? No, someone did a really great in-depth dive.
People Make Games.
Yeah, People Make Games.
PMG,
like even after that, even after a bunch of things, like there's ways to do it. It would just eat into their profit, which we did our episode on Roblox back when it went public. I think we called it like its $30 million bet or something. And in it, we're like, hey, yeah, this is a profitable thing. However, they're going to need to now balance essentially. This was years ago. Where the question we posited was like, we have to balance essentially, they have to balance answering to shareholders now that they are public and dealing with a product that essentially is selling air quotes to children and therefore upping their security game. Can they do that? We don't know. Seems like now we know that they can't or won't do that.
Yeah.
I will be very interested to see where this goes. I think there'll be some good that comes from it. I think that good will eventually also then be used to cause a lot of ill in other places.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the path, if precedent is to be believed, what we're going to see. So as for this very moment, Will and Brad and Janet, I would like to focus on the good. And actually, I think moving forward with this lawsuit is a positive for children in this country.
I agree.
Seems like that is the case.
And if nothing else, right? I do want to. There are lots of people saying that the Louisiana Attorney General doesn't have a lot of evidence because it would be a criminal proceeding, not a civil one. They may believe that they have a hard time convincing a jury. That may be the core issue, because juries are not necessarily known for having the best understanding of the way that the digital landscape works. However, I will say that even if this lawsuit is unsuccessful, the information that is gleaned and gathered by people who are interested in holding Roblox to account is of value, right? This is, to put it in gaming terms, this is like Zergling checking your opponent's econ, right? This is gathering information. Even if this is not the successful run at Roblox, this is still forcing them to make information public, which can be used in further lawsuits against them, right? This is just good. And I think that is a big one. Yeah.
Sorry, I just noticed the time, and I'm seeing if I can push my meeting. I think I'm gonna actually move my meeting from 1 to 1:30. It just seems like the right move at this point.
I mean, we've got some good ones. All right, Matt, are we ready to pick?
Hey, yes. Yeah, sorry. We are ready to move on to the next thing. I would like to thank everybody in both chats in YouTube and Twitch, Brad and Janet, for engaging with us in this conversation. This is not a easy or simple discussion to have, and everyone has been awesome and has said things of different opinions, and everyone is just discussing it. And on the internet, that is a rarity, and I like to call it out when I see it. So thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
And let's continue that spirit as we keep on trucking down the road of nightmare.
All right, chat, everybody put on your take it off caps. Oh, that's right. Did I put these in the wrong order? I might have put these in the wrong order.
Let's see. Hold on.
Well, it's supposed to be the end of No, I don't have one here. I missed it. That's on me.
Uh-oh.
It's fine.
Uh-oh. Where are we?
We're at the beginning. I screwed up our slides. The next story is actually the death of dial-up.
Oh, you just didn't load the graphic?
Yeah, the graphic didn't load. I thought I grabbed it, but apparently I didn't.
It's okay. I'll describe it. It was two godly hands holding up the AOL connectivity line of when you're signing into America Online via dial-up.
Yeah, that's correct. AOL is finally discontinuing the service. And we wanted to highlight this for a couple of reasons. One, y'all, dial-up was still around. And two, this is going to suck. Because there were people still using that. And I know that's hard to believe in an era where most people have cable or fiber. But there are still parts of the world that don't.
So in the United States, I believe as of 2023, the estimation was 163,401 households, as per the article on.
That's households, by the way. So if we assume, I think it's 2.5 per household on average, that's like a little over 300,000 people who are going to be left without access to the internet because their dial-up went away.
I'm just looking up if there's any other ones. Like, for instance, is there, highspeedinternet.com, dial-up internet service providers. So right now, the only ones that are listed, and their speeds up to 56K. Man, I remember when a 56K baud modem was like fire.
Lightning fast. Yeah, you want to put Lightning McQueen. Ka-chow. Yeah.
There are 3 now, I believe, currently that you can still use, and it is Net Zero, Juno, and DSL Extreme.
None of those sound like particularly reputable places to get internet compared to AOL, but...
Those are names I have not heard in a long
time. Yes, that's correct. And I think Chad is correctly pointing out, no one is doing this because it's the thing they want to be doing, right? Like, no one is like, yes, I love my dial-up, right?
Emily, I will not.
And so this is both, hey, y'all, people are still using dial-up, and second, not to get even a little more political, but like, maybe it would be really good if we established ways that people could get access to better internet that is kind of like necessary to do everything.
I mean, it is insane to me. Only on a moral level, not a institutional level. It is insane that the internet is not treated as a public service, like water, electricity, etc. Look, you do not need the internet to physically live. However, to actually exist in modern society, you kind of do. And you can get it different ways, cell phone carriers, etc. But it's just, it feels like that should be something that is treated as a utility.
Yes. Yep, absolutely. So we'll see what happens, but
F's in chat.
F's in chat for AOL, forever in our hearts, along
Goodbye.
with yeah.
I love all the AOL noises because to save space, they cut off the first 5 frames of every sound. So it's "We've got mail. Aisle's done." Yeah. Goodbye.
Yep. Absolutely. All right.
In chat.
Okay, so let's talk about the other thing that's been happening as a trend in the internet recently and why it kind of relates to the Roblox thing and also is its own whole series of interesting crap. Recently, several groups, and we're mainly going to focus on the 3 that I have some hard evidence.
The 3 I use.
Yeah, the 3 we use that are near and dear to our hearts. There are others, but these 3 deeply impact us. So imagine, get this, that we're going to try and talk about the things that deeply impact us that we have some experience with.
Both professionally and personally.
Right. And those are YouTube, Discord, and Blue Sky are all doing age verification. Now, a lot of this is because of a recent law that came into effect in the UK. A lot of this is UK based, but the practice is it feels like once we've let this genie out of the bottle, it is only a matter of time before other countries look at the thing that the UK is doing and be like, hey, they did it and got away with it. We should do it too. So we wanted to kind of get out in front of that and look at this as a thing, which is that these 3 companies, among others, are verifying people's age. And at least in 2 of these cases, actually in all of these cases, they are to some extent being done artificially, using some sort of artificial system. Now, that may be an AI, that may just be God, I hate this. When we talk about AI now, a lot of people think exclusively of LLMs. There is facial recognition AI. There is analytical AI in addition to generative AI, and I do want to differentiate those because analytical AI is one of the things that AI is actually pretty good at, and has been used for far longer than the current crop of LLM crap.
And AI has become such a ubiquitous term that many people who are not living and breathing in this space don't fully understand what that actually means or what it can be. And it is an increasingly difficult thing to explain.
Yes.
I was having a chat actually with my parents about it this weekend, and it took me 30 minutes to kind of get the idea even remotely, and I'm not good at it. So it's hard to sort of differentiate all of these different AIs when we just use the buzzword all the time. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. So, as in an attempt to verify people's ages, and this kind of goes back to the Roblox thing of this is really hard to do and kind of easy. It's kind of hard for a company to do and kind of easy for a person to pass through. Discord and Blue Sky are both using facial recognition scans. And
that is, the AI is trained to think it knows how old someone is based on the picture.
That is correct. However, it is full of problems, including but not limited to you being able to use stills from the most recent Death Stranding trailer to get through Discords.
Shout out to Kojima and his team.
That was indeed
for making the most realistic game.
Yeah. And those are there are a category of problems with that, right? Namely, feeding facial scans into unknown AI systems is maybe not great. I'm going to go with is probably not great. There's probably unintended consequences for this. There have been a whole bunch of discussions as those features arise about what happens with that facial telemetry data. Where does that go? Who has access to that? Now, of course, there's already plenty of people who post their photo on social media. I'm all like, Matt and I are super easy to, like, we gave up on this a long time ago, right? There are 5 years. Well, there were, thanks Twitch. There are a bunch of episodes of us on, like, talking and looking to both sides and, you know, from most angles here on YouTube, right? Or on Twitch if the VOD's still around. But the idea that you now can't get access to social media without feeding facial telemetry into something or giving that company your ID, your government ID, which has various levels of power depending on your jurisdiction, is sketchy at best.
Because, and look, it's sketchy on 2 levels. One, it's a company that's making money off you and is literally selling your data in a million different ways. So what's to stop it from selling this data, even though they super pinky promise that they're not going to? And then 2, every one of these companies has, because again, to your point, Will, internet security and like network security is spectrum. Eventually, because again, precedent has had this, each one of them have been hacked. Have had people get all of the information, so it's just another vector for people to steal your information.
Correct. So, and let me give you a really great example that will send some people into deep middle distance flashbacks. Are you ready, Matt?
I guess.
Okay, so I'm going to remind you all that there's a social network that already demanded that people upload their ID in order to be a verified user on it, and then that social network got hacked. And everyone's ID that was a verified user on that platform all got leaked. Now, it's true that social network was Parler, aka the deep right-wing alternative to Twitter when Twitter was too left for them. Imagine that such a thing could exist in 2025. Hilarious. But all of those IDs made it onto the internet, because the people thought that they were trusting their information to someone who was secure and was following good data practices. And dear friends of the breakfast hour, they were not. Right? So there is already precedent for company demands IDs, company gets hacked, IDs all make it onto the internet.
Yeah.
Right?
So the tools that are being used here, like, it's funny because, like, it's always interesting talking about these stories. You have to kind of like get in your head around like what a different user would be. For instance, I pay for YouTube Premium. It is connected to a credit card.
Yes.
Therefore, I have proven to the internet gods that I am above the year of 18 years old. Right? Like,
yeah, which is, in my opinion, a better way to do it. It's a better way to do it.
I think it does come down to almost a similar Roblox problem with a lot of, like, well, okay, so that's, but like, for instance, this is my own personal decision. I think there is a value proposition of using YouTube Premium. I think it is good. I don't see ads, and a view is actually worth more to every creator that I watch when I'm watching with YouTube Premium than if I was watching an ad. Yeah. It's not by a ton, but it is more.
Yeah.
So there is a value proposition for me there. With Discord, so, okay, actually there's 3 different levels. Discord has Nitro. Discord's also going to try to go public. I like Discord for like you can do more things, and your bandwidth for your calls is better if you're on Nitro. There's a couple other features, but like it's kind of like you could take it or leave it. And if Discord had my credit card information, like, even if this is something interesting, even if I didn't buy Discord, this is tough. I was going to say, like, if there is a methodology to get a Discord account that you need a credit card, that would destroy a lot of the people's access to Discord, which, again, in the protective nature of it, could be a net positive, but that's also going to kill a lot of communities and places that could be helpful.
And I think that is, again, it is where each company wants to fall on the security access spectrum.
Sure.
Right? And like, I think the reason, by the way, that we're okay with credit cards, right, is that credit cards are already sort of not anonymized, but like, we know what to do with a credit card that gets stolen, right? That's much easier to do than other identity. Yeah.
And banks and credit card companies at the current time are good with sort of like, oh, if you catch it, you fraud it, you don't owe it. Like, there's a lot of security measures put in place there should that information leak. Should your social security or your driver's license or something else or real ID or whatever number leak, there are not the same easy fixes for that.
Yeah. Right. And then the last one, the one that sort of cooks my noodle, and the one that...
sorry. I just one other thing, because Richard said this thing. I'm so sorry to cut you off. Well, this is where I was going with this. I don't think I would mind, because, for instance, I don't want to pay for Nitro, right? I don't think I still would mind if Discord needed a credit card to be entered that did not charge you. Do you know what I mean? Like, it has it on file to know that you are an adult or that you are signing up your kid for Discord or whatever it is, right? Yeah. Again, that's me, and there's probably a couple things I'm not thinking of. Please shout them out in the chat. But I think that's sort of where I'm at the middle point of it. And then there's Blue Sky, which its whole premise personally for me is that it is free. I know that I am the product on it, but also it has cultivated overall. There's been some issues as of even the last couple of days that I don't know the best way to age verify on that platform, because that's something I don't think does need to be intrinsically tied to it. Again, this is all just based on my vibes. This is not like in my use case.
And like a lot of this is based on like public perception, right? Like a lot of this is... Okay, let's use the facial rec thing as an example, right? Let's say that there's a way to do facial rec safely, right? That there's a way to actually just use analytical AI to do facial rec stuff and then delete it. The public has to believe that that's what's happening, right? Because this is again a problem of public perception more than a problem of fact.
I think it's a problem of fact. I think people know that companies are not good with this stuff. I don't think it is the perception, but is perceived correctly. All companies have done statistically has been whiff these security things because they need to make the most profit, so they're not going to have the most robust security that they possibly can.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Yeah. Joe says the Discord's facial scan is fully on device.
Oh, that's good.
Which is nice.
It is.
Also, hello, Joe. Hey, Joe. Hey, buddy.
That is
Joe would be a really good person to have on many of these discussions. Maybe
works.
Yeah.
Time is a soup. That's a problem.
Yeah.
So that's good. If Discord's is full, like that also, again, I believe Joe when he says that. I also think that one of the problems is the public perception of it. Right? Like, yes.
But that perception is based in fact. Like,
is it? Matt, buddy, we live in 2025. Is anything based in fact anymore?
I think so. Just people ignore it. Like the companies traditionally, it all cycles back. This is the most asinine nonsense thing, but it's following the money. Companies want to make the most money possible, not some of the money, all of the money. So they are going to make their products slightly worse if they can eke out more profit. They're going to make their security measures slightly worse if they can eke out more profit. Like that is the fiduciary duty of any company that is publicly traded. Like that is the actual goal that is put out, right?
Yeah.
So how can we even expect a level of care when that is not an end goal? That is not a win condition. Yeah. Like, because, and we've also known truly that the bigger the company is, the more like 5 moves ahead they don't think, because the people that will make the money first before bad things happen to the company.
Yeah.
I just think I think that yes, it is public perception, but it is widely earned that
I think that's true.
Companies are not good at this because they're not financially motivated to be good at this.
I think that's true. Let's also talk about the last of these, which is slightly different. Let's talk about the way YouTube is doing this.
Sure.
So I did just want to bring this up because it is slightly different. So people were asking about YouTube's. So YouTube's is currently in pilot, and it's not everyone. It's a group of test users in the U.S. who may not be aware that they're test users. And mercifully, one of YouTube's advantages in this case is that many people's account is older than 18 years. And so you're just automatically, you're good to go. If your account is older than 18, you're good, right? You're fine. And then the other one, which is mind-boggling, not as, I don't know if it's better or worse. I think it's better, but I'm also weirded out by it, is that they're going to feed your browsing habits, your watching habits into an analytical AI, and that's going to tell whether you're an adult or not. Which,
again, this is so behind closed doors, you don't really know. Like, I would hope that it is an amalgamation of all of, like, every possible thing. I can see how viewing habits might be helpful, but it can't paint the whole picture, right? Like, if 90, well, I mean, here, this is the interesting thing that will kind of screw people. Like, if 90% of the stuff that you watch is Cocomelon, most likely that's not really what the person is watching. They're showing it to their kid.
Correct.
They probably didn't make their kid their own YouTube thing.
Yes.
Will they get struck? Like, but again, I hope that there are multiple, like, vectors that they are doing this in.
Yeah. Well, and there is a backup. Right, there is a backup if you can do government ID. But again, same problem, right? Same problem. And again, I do want to address this. Lots of companies have said that they delete your ID once it's verified. Great if true. Great.
Again, I go to the hot soup that is the current political and corporate climate. I don't know. I mean, definitely not in my lifetime. I feel like the level of consumer trust is at an all-time low.
That I agree with.
So forgive me, even if you are being the most honest corpo this side of, I don't know. I can't think of one, but like the like
Ireland?
it just
Chancery Court of Delaware. Take your pick.
Yeah. And you know, do they delete it immediately once per month at some future date? You don't know,
right? There is some amount of required transparency here and some amount of trust. Yeah,
trust me, bro.
And that's tough. Right, that is the really tough thing for all of these companies to pull off is they need to comply with the law, right? And to be clear, I also want to be clear, they're not doing this because they want to. They're doing this in an attempt to comply with the law so they don't lose the UK as a user base.
Yeah,
right? Which I think not losing the UK as a user base is good, right?
Yes.
Because I know, like, there are plenty of people in the UK who use these tools and platforms and with whom we interact. So good to not lose the UK as a user base.
Yeah.
The way they're doing it, not great. I also just want to take a second and be like, hey, maybe the way the law is done isn't the best either. I'm less familiar with the law, but like that doesn't, like, no company wants to do this. Right? They're doing this to comply with a demand, right? Because this is expensive and takes time and generates distrust between them and their users and, like, other stuff.
Sorry, a bit of an aside. Yes, for 15 to 20 minutes they do, just because of all the concentrated history that is in each bite. Unless you are using historically non-pasteurized milk, in which case it will be down to about 5 to 7 minutes. Thank you for asking the hard-hitting question, Doug.
Yeah.
Medusa, oh, how does all this impact Flixel Sticks? Well, as you know, Flixel Sticks has a perceptually based security system, meaning, do you perceive the security? Well, then congratulations, it's secure. And so really, we're at the forefront of this. I don't know why anyone else isn't using one of these apocryphal systems that we've developed. I think that it works great. Yeah, you know, I just wanted Flixel Sticks users, you are safe.
Yeah.
Flixel Sticks. Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, sorry. Flixel Sticks. God, how old is Flixel Sticks, Will?
2 or 3 years.
Flixel Sticks is a game.
It's kind of like Hecknomancer.
That exists. That is an allegory for a lot of different things.
Your air quotes are getting real tired there, buddy.
All you have to do is imagine that there is a game called Flixel Sticks that we are in control of.
That's right. Yeah, it's a
5 years grass. Jeez.
It's one of the running gags on the show.
Yeah. Anywho.
Yeah, I worry. I worry, right? Like this is one of those things that feels like it's very easy to just sort of go with the lowest common denominator, or to go with because it's easy and lots of people will do it just because it's comfortable. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't have something like this, but I am saying that anything like this is worthy of being interrogated thoroughly, right? That this is a thing that we should be paying attention to and asking questions about, yeah. Right? Like, I am persuaded by the idea that having some amount of differentiation between the experience an adult receives on the internet and the experience a kid receives on the internet are different. Right? That's great. 100% behind that idea. How we do that is the big deal, right? And so
yeah,
I just encourage us to examine this with a modicum of skepticism, right? And to say, how much do we really trust these companies to do this correctly? Right?
There's also, even in this story and in the Roblox story and in a lot of other things, there's also other side vectors that will not be done, but could be done to help all of this stuff. And that is adjusting curriculum, to be perfectly frank, to include things that are more ubiquitous. Like, okay, I'm going to back up for a second real quick. Something that I was never taught in school, and I don't think that modern schools teach at all. If there's any people that have recently graduated high school or even remember 10 years ago or whatever, I'd be interested in this. Classes in high school never taught me how to, and I know this is an antiquated term already, but like balance a checkbook or manage my money or how credit works. Like nothing was ever taught to me in these skills that you need to have in every day-to-day life to succeed. Luckily, my parents did. And therefore, I'm pretty okay with it. Like, I feel like I have a good grasp. I am able to sort of see scams and what can get me in trouble in the future. And, you know, as we all get older and the systems change, that can obviously change too. But I was never taught intrinsic things that would be helpful to be a thriving member in a capitalist society. I was taught how to, I don't know, woodwork. I was taught like math. I was taught like other things, but like, you know, I really think that a side solution to a lot of this stuff, and it's not a solution, it's just, it would be helpful in it, is if there could be, in a perfect world, an agreed upon curriculum about teaching kids what the internet is, how it works, but like from a social perspective, not from a how does the internet physically work, right? Yeah. Like, hey, you're going to be on the internet. This is in your life. This is what it is. Okay, here's things to look out for. Here's, you know, like scams, people like just like another vector other than parents to help teach about these things. I know this is a pipe dream. I know that that's not going to, they haven't even been able to do that about credit cards because, I mean, tinfoil hat, my idea is that basically they don't want to do that because then credit card companies will make less money on people not paying their credit card bills. I digress. Tinfoil hat off. It would be another vector to sort of fight the things that are causing all of these issues. Again, it is not a fix, but like educating people about this stuff, especially when it's something that has been like, I feel like my generation and maybe Will, your generation is a bit more like, in order to be a part of this space, it was more difficult back in the day to actively figure out how to engage with it. And therefore you kind of taught yourself because we existed before and after.
I also want to, I'm going to call both of us out here real quick.
Yeah.
The way we're talking about this, it may also sound like we've got it all figured out.
No. God, no.
No. Okay. So like, yeah. And that remains a problem, right? There are still things that I wish like I had been taught better or taught more or had like given to me at a younger age, right? So like, we're not saying that we got it all figured out and everyone else should have it figured out as we do. We're saying that we don't have it figured out and we'd like everyone to have it more figured out than we do.
Us. We are in an animated kitchenette.
That is correct. On a Monday morning. Lemons,
if you don't mind saying which state, I'm just curious because that's awesome that is the case.
Yeah. Like the, yeah. Yep. 100%. Anyway, this episode has gotten surprisingly deep on surprisingly many topics.
What are you talking about?
I didn't plan to have this done. Matt, are we ready for just some dessert? Like a light?
Real quick, I think just to cap this story off, this is something that is going to be changing, I think, fairly quickly across the next 6 months to a year. And we'll talk about it more as it does. I'm curious to see how all of these things roll out, how much it affects who. Does it do the appropriate thing? Does it mollify what the UK wants and believes, the safety laws there? It's going to be interesting. Sadly, because we're living in it. If we weren't living through it, it would be a fascinating look.
Correct. I'm tired of living in unprecedented times. I would like to live in some precedented times. I've been good enough.
And the last thing real quick, is, this is a video game show. The interesting thing is all of these things, even the 3 companies that are on the carousel here, are all like intrinsically linked to gaming.
Video games. Yeah.
So it's just like, it's a vector.
Yeah. Like,
Joe, you're going to be on here. We're going to chat more. This ain't going away. You know this better than anybody.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Okay. Are we ready for dessert? Something completely unrelated. Okay, Matt, do you know what's for dessert?
I can check the show notes. I prepped the graphic.
My cabbages!
There it is.
All right. Okay. So, Avatar Magic previewed, and it's great, and it makes everyone happy. Now, here's the big thing.
It's great, and it makes everyone happy.
Well, so many people are happy about this. Here's the great part about this, and the part that I'm really excited about. We're getting new Avatar art for a lot of these. So if you are someone who just likes Avatar and doesn't like Magic, that is okay. You're still going to be able to get a giant mouse pad that's got Avatar art on it, right? Or card sleeves for your other games that have Avatar art on them. And that's really good in and of itself. I'm just also really glad to see Avatar cycling back into the popular zeitgeist because I still think it's one of the best animated shows in any language that I've ever watched. It's like Avatar and Frieren are like right up there together with like the perfect length, the perfect story.
Sure.
Like 100%. But they did a bunch of previews for the Magic cards, and the Magic cards look sweet. I'm very excited about it. It is going to be a way to teach people the game, which I'm also very excited about. And most of what I'm excited about is the level of fan service that's going into all of these with like Momo has a card. And there is a card called Heartless Act that has new art of Appa being chained down during Appa's big adventure. And like, there's all kinds of really, really well done art and really good in-jokes. And I'm very happy with it, and it makes me happy. And I hope it makes you happy too.
Well, there you go.
Oh yeah, that's right. Sokka's haiku is a haiku. There's a card called Sokka's Haiku, and the rules text for Sokka's Haiku is itself a haiku. No notes.
Okay. Okay. Isn't Spider-Man still coming out?
Yeah, it is. That's right,
How?
Matt. That is kind of part of the problem, which is that they did this stupid preview thing, and no one is excited for Spider-Man now. We will get excited for Spider-Man when Spider-Man releases, and then we'll go back to being excited for Avatar. But they stepped on their own release.
When does Spider-Man release?
It's a really great question, Matt. Next question.
They don't know?
It's like a month. It's
Okay.
like end of September, early October,
All right.
I think.
I just
They did a really WotC did a really, really, really bad job with this, and I do want to acknowledge that. That they really stepped on their own release. They did a bunch of previews for Spider-Man, and then before Spider-Man came out, they started doing a bunch of previews for Avatar, and it really overshadowed Spider-Man.
Do they think that it's different? I mean, I know that it's somewhat different, audiences, but like, I don't think it's that. Like, I think there's a lot of cross there that might be bad.
I am gonna say a thing, and it's gonna upset some people. Spider-Man is not good source material for D&D, and Avatar is.
You mean Magic?
Yeah, for whichever WotC property.
Whatever, yeah. Here's the thing. I will respectfully disagree with you, sir. Okay. I think, and again, I want to be very clear. I do not like the 19,000 sets that they're releasing with every possible IP that then makes it so it's very hard to get Magic because it makes it very expensive and you can't actually engage with all of the material, even if it is your professional job. However, I think that Spider-Man, and to be perfectly honest, Avatar as well, do the exact thing that they want from this, just like Final Fantasy did. And that is, and I'll say why I think it works and then why I think it's okay. I think this is the way to get people into Magic, to get more people into the system. It is an entry point. And I think all three work very well in that way because the game designers at Magic work very hard to make sure that every card that they're putting a character or an ability or a thing in those worlds actually plays and feels like that ability outside of Magic the Gathering, just in Magic's rules. I think it is an incredible, like, the other side of this is Fortnite. Let's have Superman run around with a machine gun.
Right.
Neat.
Yeah.
It does nothing. It does not make Fortnite better, in my opinion. It does not make Superman better, in my opinion. This is a congruous way to actually have tie-ins if that is going to be your business model moving forward. So in that way, Will, I do think that Spider-Man is just as good as a system for Magic as Avatar is.
My problem is that Spider-Man's too big. They didn't take a manageable bite-sized chunk of Spider-Man. They took Spider-Man and they picked and chose. And I think that.
What do you mean? I'm not like too big. How?
There is too much Spider-Man. So, for instance, in the Spider-Man set, there are already more than a half dozen versions of a character who could be called Spider-Man, right? And those are all different, right? Because so we've got.
Well, aren't they treating them like a type?
They are. They're their own unique thing, but to someone who is not deeply entrenched in Spider-Man, it doesn't do well as a Magic set. There is also another big problem, which I think is underlying a lot of my distaste for the Spider-Man set, which is that WotC really dropped the ball on the contracting with Marvel when they did the Spider-Man set, and there is not a contract for WotC to make digital cards, and so that is a different issue, but that is part of what's underlying my distaste, is that on Arena, which is the place that I play most frequently, like daily, we won't be getting Spider-Man. We'll be getting legally distinct not Spider-Man.
What do you mean?
We'll be getting a different version of the same set that has all of the Spider-Man IP filed off.
The ubiquity is that, and that's Marvel. That's
100% right. And so I already have a bias against it because of that. So I do want to acknowledge that in this conversation.
Marvel in the contract did break ubiquity with what Magic usually does because Marvel is big enough to do that. However, but again, I kind of go back to it. I think that it is still, if their goal is to get more people to buy physical Magic cards, which I think truly for the Spider-Man set and the people that would be out there is to move physical product more than obviously digital, because I can't get that license.
Yep.
I think it is still an incredible onboarding experience for people to truly actually get what Magic the Gathering is.
I agree with that. I think the middle ground that I think we would both probably be happiest with is if this wasn't a standard legal set. If this was a standalone product, if this was like Assassin's Creed, if this was a contained experience, because I do think that it's cool to have action figures with Magic cards or a standalone Spider-Man starter set, and I think all of that's really cool and good. The problem is that when they had to make the set big enough for standard, because it needs to be a certain size, they started just pulling everything in instead of having a coherent plan to bring everything in. And it may not be Spider-Man's fault. It may be WotC needing to pivot the course, but it's not.
I mean, Spider-Man has as a property, just not Marvel, just Spider-Man has a ton of things to pull from.
Correct. And knowing when not to pull from them is part of the important part, I think.
I don't know.
I think I would rather
it's funny,
narrow contained.
Yeah. It's interesting. As a person who knows how to play and loves Magic, but is not deep into the community at this point, I still don't know what the differences of those sets that you've said are. Like the type
fair.
of like, oh, released or the thing or the full set or whatever. Like I'm so even out of it. I will just buy a commander deck to play. And I think truly, and I think this is why I'm not upsetty spaghetti about it at all, is that they're shooting for me. They're shooting for people that either have heard of Magic or have a passing fondness of it or played it back in the day, or they're shooting for brand new people who at this point do not care about any of that stuff.
I think that's very fair. If their target audience is kitchen table, then this is dope.
But also, I will say I do not bemoan you or anyone else who is like hardcore into the Magic community for not liking the way that this is being done and maybe liking the way that the Avatar set is being done better. Yeah, it's just a matter of, I think, perspective of where your entry point is for this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Nom.
All right, that's our last story for today. Thank you all so much for sticking with us for an episode that ran longer than I thought it would. For some reason, when I prepped this, I thought it was going to be shorter, but that's because I'm silly and also tired.
Yeah, that's fair.
Friends, that is going to do it for our breakfast this week. A reminder that next week we will be doing a brief rundown of all the cool things that get released at Gamescom. So please look forward to that. In addition, remember that we're going to be that Matt is going to be at PAX West, not this weekend, but the weekend after. So please look forward to that and our panels there and all of that. Last note before we sign off. Kickstarter ends this Friday. If you would like to get the calendar as part of the Kickstarter and push us towards our $70,000 make a puzzle out of our artwork stretch goal, please go.
Can you pull the graphic up real quick too? Real quick. Sorry to interrupt. I will just say this. If you're not familiar, it is a 2026 calendar. History happens every day. It has a history fact on every day, plus little QR codes, QR code at the bottom of every month with various pictures in the dates. Every time there's a picture, you can scan that and it'll take you to a video about the history that happened on that day. We did one for 2025. It was a huge success. We got 3 to 4 more days left on this one. There's also beautiful new art that's inspired by historical classics, but redone with historical figures in our Bean style by David Hueso for every month. And it is an absolute delight to behold. I have mine up on my wall right now. And if you haven't checked it out, link right there in the chat. Please go check that out because this will be the cheapest you can possibly get it. It will be available in the store eventually. It will be more expensive in the store than the Kickstarter. That's just how it's going to be.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, then all that remains to our breakfast this morning is for Matt to do the sign up. Oh, and for me to tell you, I got the box.
Oh, great. You got the box.
Yeah, I got the box.
You got the box.
Great. Very excited. And now...
And then after this, if you want to stick around, YouTube folks will be stopping here. But if you want to go hang out with Will be making his seamless co-op character in Elden Ring right now for the adventure of a lifetime that I will be popping in and out of. I believe the next time I'm scheduled to be on that stream will be this Thursday.
Yep.
I have made a character myself that will be a mage build based on Agatha from Agatha All Along. And what's it called? And WandaVision. And Will is still deciding on his katana person, I believe.
We're working on that. We'll talk about it as we build this morning.
So check out if you want to pop over there to Twitch, that'll be over there. And yeah, I guess if there's nothing else, I'll just take us in our traditional sign off that is the same every time, because we want to make sure that the community can do it along with us to, invoke a series of a feeling of camaraderie and togetherness. And also, it's a bit of a moment of zen, not to take that from The Daily Show, but just something where we can actually, we had a lot of intense discussions today that kept coming and having a lot of different facets, and we can't all agree on it. And sometimes that can get a little heated. So this is designed so not only we can all do it together, but it's just like a breath of fresh air, and it's super calming. And thank you so much for watching Games for Breakfast. We'll talk at you next week. Here it is, the same ending we do every time.